here we go. Just looming on this big, huge that we would never get into the frame of the camera probably. Oh. Anyway, it's a bunch of different stitches here. That's how I like it, but I got the edge figured out where I didn't think I would like slip stitches, and I still don't. I don't slip them in anything, but it's turning out to look all right on this because the last loom when I ended up taking it off because it was 50, the sides just weren't even close to lining up or anything, and it just looked bad. And then when I switched it to slip stitches, it looked even worse because there was all these yucky stitches and then slipped ones. Then I converted it to knitting needles, and it's even worse. So I don't know. Might be a dog blanket. No, that's got some good wool on it. I don't want to just give it to dogs. I'll just keep it for around the house and call my one of a kind blanket. And yes, I'm obsessed with blankets. That's what I like to wink the most. I don't know why. I've made a lot of hats, but I like hats that I can get done in like one day, but they literally would take all day for me anyways. Then you always have that overlap, especially in crocheted hats. There's very few of them where you don't see that line running up the back. I think knitted hops are the best if you can tolerate doing top down, because then there's not really a lap unless you're changing colors too much and you see the color change. But I don't know. I'm over hats for a while. Mainly because every time I make myself one, it's either too big or too small. I can't figure out just what I wear, but like when I got me a bucket hat offline and it obviously was too big. I think I wear more of a teenager size because I've lost basically all my hair, so I don't have that extra thickness to my head because of hair like most people do, I guess. But this is just, stitches that I learned from watching Deborah Shaw's videos. You might want to check that out if anybody's even watching this, that is. I just started kind of doing this to see if I could. I mean, I'm not trying to like get a YouTube button or do anything like that. I just think it's to connect with people. I've looked for podcasts and stuff with certain people, crocheting and looming. I just don't see any for looming. It's a ton for knitting podcasts. Not a lot of crochet ones. And it seems like the ones I see on all those are always like very commercialized, I guess, is the way I want to say it. There's the gilded loop that I really probably going to end up subscribed to, but I'm really probably going to be a member and pay that $6.99 a month because he's very laid back. He talks, like we're in his living room with him having a chit chat. So I really like his. Um, there's some of the others that are just women and they're so hyper. Give this old lady a headache. I want to watch some that, are just laid back and bloopers left in and I mean, I would never. I don't think I'm ever going to get a hang of a tutorial because I just can't get the camera to like focus straight on the stitches. I mean, you can see them stitching here, but you don't. I can't get you a close up so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But some of those live things I watched last night of some people, they had the face view of them knitting, and you couldn't see a thing they were doing, and they were just chit chatting. So that's more what I aim for. But I don't like to see my face continuously on screen either. I mean, it's bad enough you see my belly, and I guess maybe I should. There's my face. Yeah, but in order for me to get any of the project I'm doing in, it just can't get my whole, especially when I sit back in this recliner because I got so many back problems. And I can't sit, I can't sit up and hold this loom in my lap because it's one of those huge oval Cindy Wood looms. And I just got this new pick, and it's from Knitting Board. Got it off of Amazon just to see if I'd like it, and I probably will order another one in case I ever lose this one or wears out or something. I've used the traditional ones normally, and they're so small they like hit right there, and then I end up callous. This one, is kind of, but sometimes I feel it's slipping up, and it kind of gets that feeling too. But I do like the purple and silver ones that Cindy Wood Limbs sends with all their looms when you buy a loom from them. I got a ton of those, and I've worn them out where the things start slipping. That plastic thing, that's on there for the comfort starts slipping because it gets, I don't know, stretched out somehow or something. But I still got a few of those as well, but I kind of like this one better. It just seems like this part is longer, and just with that being thicker, I don't know, I think I like it better. I'm also trying out some ergonomic crochet hooks. And I have crocheted since I was 17 years old, and that's a lot of years, 53 at least. And I never ever got like fancy dancy crochet hook. To me, a crochet hook was a crochet hook. So I started out always using those boys. That's what you got in Walmart or whatever, And then I use the Red Heart scratchy kind of yarn. Well, I'm a kind of a yarn snob now. I very rarely use that scratchy stuff. They do say that it's softer now, and I've tried some of it out, and it always seems thicker. Like Hobby Lobby's 4-weight yarn, it seems like it's more of a 3 to me. Not what I'm used to on a 4. Carrying 1 pound is a thicker 4. So I was used to all the thicker 4s because that's kind of how that Red Heart was. I've had, I've tried the Red Heart Soft too. It's better as well, but I don't know. There's so many other ones to choose from, and now that I've been using wool blends, especially with looming, you really need the wool blends. Now with crochet, not so much. Knitting, there's some times that, yeah. But, and cotton is my nemesis. Unless it's a soft feeling cotton, I mean, I would go with the cotton blend. Because this cotton smells like sugar and creams or something. It's just like stiff. It's like, I don't know, working with a Brillo pad to me, but and then your hook or whatever you're using on don't slide as well. The stitches, don't seem to show up well. So anybody got any ideas for a nice cotton yarn that you can make a garment with, like a cardigan or something that, you know, wouldn't be that, feeling that like I said, I make washcloths out of that cotton, but I just, I don't know, might make one a month or something because I hate working with that. I got some really pretty cotton yarn that I've got that isn't sugar and creams and stuff, but I think I got some of it from Hobby Lobby as well. I've never ordered cotton from Michaels, but I've gotten uh, the cotton blends and stuff like that. A lot of their Karen cakes are cotton blend or wool blend. Oops. But and then I'm like 40 miles from the nearest Michaels, and the last time I went over, they just didn't have a selection of aisles of yarn, and I see some of these people going to Michaels and looking at their um, yarn lines, and I think, oh my God, how come we don't have that in our state? I mean, Hobby Lobby has downsized their yarn from what they were years ago. They're more into the other type of craft things and home decor kind of stuff. I think now is how I feel. And of course Joann's is gone, but I never ever made it to a Joann's because I had to went to Wichita for that too. So I basically order everything offline, or I go to our local Hobby Lobby. I have gotten some Premier yarn at Walmart, but I feel, I'm a yarn snob because I feel like the Premier yarn that's in Walmart is like the yarn that was rejected by, Premier, and so they gave it to Walmart or something. I don't know. It was like yeah. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But I don't know. I want to touch the yarn and feel the yarn and see whether I want it. Now, that's why I order from Michaels for sure, because I've ordered enough that I know what each yarn kind of is. I very rarely order anything they got new, because every time I do that, I'm disappointed. But I like to, even Hobby Lobby, I could order from them now too, because I know which, because they carry their store brand. And I know their Secret Soft is more like, Soft Secret is more like Red Hearts to me. Feels like it's got cotton in it or something. So I don't like that as well. And I've been getting there. I love this chunky to do on my loom mainly. And then I've ordered from yarn.com and got some Riot King Cold Chunky and some other different ones as well. I never ever used to use chunky yarn for nothing. I mean, I just didn't like it. And then since I started looming, I realized, okay, this is nice. But I still won't go to those 6 and 7s. 5 is just plenty for me. I used blanket yarn one time. I crocheted a blanket. Liked it. My dog loves it, actually. My cat loves it, actually. But I don't know. The hook, it's just you gotta use such a big hook and all that, and that hurts my arm anyway. I might as well arm knit it. Get those really huge ones and do the arm ones. And I think that would be okay, but that'd wear me out too if I want to cover my bed. That's king size, and I've yet to get a blanket made. And I keep saying I'm going to, and I never measure, so I think, oh man, this is big enough to go across, and then it doesn't. But that's okay, because my dogs are cover hogs anyway, so I need it just on my side. My side of the bed. Then there's the dog and the cat side. My husband snores too much, so he sleeps in his room. And yes, we're old enough to have his and her rooms. And if y'all young ones are sitting here saying, oh my God, I'm not ever going to. No, yeah, you will. You will want to have that just so I can sleep stuff and not listen to you, or I can flip flop around in the bed all I want. You know, if you need to snuggle, you can go snuggle or whatever. But my husband won't like do that either, honestly. Especially this time of year, it's hot. I want to get away, I'm hot, kind of thing. This is just a U wrap this way. The other way, it was two U wraps, one way and then the other. Like I said, it's Deborah Shaw's Twisty Stitch. So that's where I should probably put that in the description so you all will know. Like I said, my whole 60 subscribers will all check it out, I think. Your family and friends won't even join and watch it all the way through or anything. And you tell them to share it and stuff, and I'm more apt to have some random person like it, and then they tell somebody, and then I get another subscriber or something. I was really surprised that I got enough subscribers so I could actually do a live video and that. So, but I don't care about all that. If I get like one or two people that I can just chit chat back and forth with, ideas, whatever, I'm good. I've just proved to myself that I could sit here and do this, and I know I don't like to watch them back either, because that was like my worst thing in school, is having to stand up in front of everybody and give a report or whatever like that, because I always bumbled over my words. And for some reason, if people can't see my face, but I don't know, it doesn't bother me. I don't know. But getting that in front of strangers is a problem. Now, people that I know, they would probably tell you that I don't know how to, I talk forever and never shut up, and say, I feel comfortable with them, so I just say whatever, because they're not going to judge and all that. Because I just worry about being around professionals or people and them having, talking about me. And it's more so like right in the middle of me doing it, or just go behind my back and do it like all the other people do. Don't sit there and whisper in front of me and be obvious, because then I just want to go up and like throat punch it or something. I wouldn't do that, but then it just makes it like, what's the point? Point is, I managed to do it with this camera and at least get my loom in, and then the camera ain't going on. But when you have your Photoshop camera going through your iPhone, it's like different to the point where it just gives you a different view, regardless if you have it in the same place, same tilt, same whatever. And then you go through the YouTube on live like this, and you got to readjust the camera and stuff all over again. I had it setting up perfectly for just the Photoshop, because I thought looking at it would give me an idea where the camera would be and have me be able to sit down in the right place to just start recording. But no. As soon as I sat down, I had to adjust it, because it just viewed different. Even though both of them were going through my iPhone camera on the tripod. They haven't touched it, haven't moved it. So when I get off here and I try to do on Photoshop, then same thing will happen. And I'm not sure that I don't like the one on Photoshop better and should just upload them. But I want to go. I've been wanting to do a long live video and not just doing one thing. If my I ordered a. That's right. I ordered a Clover Amore hook. I've never used them all my years of crocheting and I've never used them because I've always just used the boy, and that was good enough. And the ones that were ergonomic that I would get, that rubber piece I would sweat in the palm of my hand, and it would just rub till it was sore. So I just never tried them again. So everybody's raved about those. I don't think I've heard anybody not or say anything bad about them. So I decided I'd try that one. I've tried the furls. I've got several furls in there now, and I liked the very first one I got. I loved it. It slipped my yarn right through. Second one I got was plastic, so it kind of is like bamboo in a way. It doesn't slide as well. And then I got another streamline one that's metal, I believe. Yeah, but it evidently doesn't have the resin polish stuff or something. I don't know because it's not as slippery as the others. And I don't know by whatever with Odyssey and this and all these other different names. I don't know what one is good for versus the other, or if they're all the same in a sense. I mean, I know they're all pretty basically shaped the same and everything, but so I don't know the difference. And then I got a tulip one, so I've heard good things about them. Is that it? I got a different kind of clover one. That's a clover soft grip because I've heard some good about those as well. So I don't know. I know that the one clover one, the clover and more, is supposed to be here today, and the other one's tomorrow, I believe. And I'm still waiting on some darn yarn from um, yarn.com that my King Cole Chunky to finish my crocheted blanket that I've been crocheting it with. Oh, crud. That's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, I used to think I could multitask. Let's see if I'm going to really mess this up now. And of course, my glasses I don't have on. Sometimes it's easy on, sometimes it's not. I'm trying to put this one on there than my unravel, but I think I saved it. To-do! Nope. Knew that wasn't going to happen, so dang it. Oh well. Easy enough to solve because I'm far enough. Yeah, close enough to the end that that shouldn't matter. So I'm just going to put these back on. I don't even know what I did. Oh, I started doing an ally stitch instead of the twisty stitch. That's why. I should have just left that one as ally. Not worried about it, but because I'll end up doing an ally on here again eventually. Because, like I said, if you can see, these are all different kind of stitches. So, but for the most part, I mean, they all kind of look similar, anyways. And don't ask me. I know I started out with like the twisty and the U-wrap, and I did some other like cobblestone and stuff. So now let's see what we did here. Okay. That one did. I didn't get all the stitches. That's the thing with some of this yarn that's got wool content, or it's roving or whatever. It's so thick that it, has. Okay, so this way was just the U-wrap. So hopefully that can be fixed. But then when I get to these last two here, it's a U-wrap and an E-wrap. And I did that right on the last one. It's just when I start coming back, I started doing ally. First two stitches. So this first, I slip the first stitch basically, and then I purl this one. Then the twisty. See the difference between twisty. Twisty is this way and that way. And with the ally, it's both the same direction. And I'm sure, I don't know if it's this one I had out or another one I had out earlier. I think it was my other one I had out earlier that I didn't know where I left it, and I just started doing ally and just finished it. Because I got a Cindy Wombs Infinity Loom, Blanket Loom, that S Loom thing. I love the loom. You know, I mean, it's well made, everything. It's not like those plastic KB ones and stuff. But just because you're using like DK yarn or 3-weight yarn and it's a 7/16 gauge, it's time consuming and kind of fiddly when you're trying to wrap and you're trying to, knit off. And those wrap tools don't work with that because there's just not enough room for it to go between the pegs. And it's kind of a pain to try to just, like, if you're going to guide it there, you might as well just wrap it without a tool. I used a straw a couple times and it kind of worked, but that darn tool only really works if you want to just do nothing but the E-wrap. I mean, I've done it a couple times where I did some E-wrap in it like that and used that straw, and then I just push the straw down further and back and do this other stitch I wanted to do. I think I need to get some crochet out. And I need to get a drink. I wonder what this does. Nope. Well, anyway, I thought I would try that, but and I've tried to like put it behind me, but all it wants to do is show my big fat head, balding head. Because I figured, a bird's eye view would be the best. And they have that desktop thing, but it doesn't any better, I don't think. It sometimes works better with like Photoshop or whatever, but and then like I said, I know if it was crochet stitches, I could crochet around the tripod and get a real good view. But I would only be able to do that so long for a very quick, simple stitch tutorial or something, because it'd be hard. And then on the loom stuff, if I was to do a tutorial, I'd have to get like one of my smaller looms and go around it and do it. So if I ever decide to like do tutorials, I decide I want to do a wash rag, you know, so, which tutorial that I would do wouldn't go to waste. Be able to do it beginning to end, or at least beginning to several rows until, and then finish it up and come back to do the bind off or something. But, hats are nice on the loom. That's the one thing I do know that they are. And I've only really done the E-wrap on them because I think they look like the store ones when you do them like that. Crochet ones, I haven't found too many that actually don't look handmade, I guess. I don't know. Which is okay with me, but if I want a hat, it's usually to keep my head warm, and the gaps in crochet ones, unless you're doing a single or maybe a half double crochet. And the good thing about crochet ones too is you go from, top down mostly, so you're, once you get those increases, then you're just off to the races. And even with just regular needle knitting, you frustrate when you have the double pointed needles making the crown, but then once you get that, you're good. I don't like to make them top up because you get all that work done, and then if you mess up with the crown and drop stitches, and it becomes a problem. Now, a lot of people would just do the cinch method, not decrease or whatever at all, but I just think it needs it. Even with looming, it needs a little bit. I just added this skein of yarn before I started, and then of course, never towards the end it never stays together. So I'm probably gonna just roll that up so it will stay entangled and get to the end of this, put it up for a while, get a drink, and pull out some crochet or knitting. I think crochet, because I've ripped out that knitting thing 3 different times. I'm doing a mitered squared one. A lot of people call it memory blanket, and they do it with sock yarn. I'm using DK or Hobby Lobby's DK, whatever, number 4 yarn, but it's, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's softer that it feels like it's thinner. But anyway, and I've had that on the go for years, a couple at least. That's a very minimum, because I put it away, and then when I start going through yarn to see what I have, I find it and think, oh man, hey, this is, neat. I like it. And so then I want to work on it for a little bit longer. Just like I got a knitted log cabin one going, and I do have enough interchangeable needles and extensions now that I'd be able to do it long enough, with the log cabin, because you just keep gaining and you're going all the way around, and it looks nice, but I get bored with it, and knitting doesn't get done in a New York minute either. Knitting to me takes the longest, but I'm not so sure that looming with big blankets doesn't take them. I just feel like maybe it seems to be thinner as you're doing each one. Then when you're just knitting, it's and with this, I don't know. you can take a break. You're not losing any stitches. I could go put this up now. You're halfway through it, as long as I know what my pattern is with knitting. Yeah. And I probably messed up and got on the bandwagon and tried to do big blankets. Right off the bat, and get really chaining on 200 and something. And then, yeah, it seems like it took forever to get across. And at some time I'm going to show you a summer cardigan or something I made. It doesn't have sleeves on it, but I think there was in pretty cut. And I made 2 of them actually, and it was with that. Was it Roll With It yarn, Red Heart? I don't know, but I watched it was a knit-along that we did, and we had grass. And I can't believe I managed to do it, but I concentrated on, I didn't do any other work in progress. I strictly, during the knit-along, I strictly did that. And, yeah, but I'm proud of them, but I made one with DK yarn, and it's hot when I wear it. And the other one is just like, doesn't really match with anything. And I'm not a person to wear a white shirt, so I can wear that over it. So I don't know. But I'm keeping them, and I'll wear them for something at some point, just so I can say, yep, I made this. Because I feel like I did a good job on it. And I did not think I would. And, that's kind of something I would like to make other than blankets is cardigans and shrugs and stuff like that. But I just don't want the yarn. I want a nice soft cotton blend to make them. I don't want the acrylic crap. I don't really want all wool either, because it can be kind of a pain to work with. And I'm a queen of having to frog things, and wool yarn, you just can't frog that. You might as well throw it away. Start frogging it, and it just messes the fibers up and breaks. And that's why that first one, because that yarn that we had was like a Roll With It yarn or something, and it was a size 1, and we had to have 3 strands of it. But in that size 1, there were several itty bitty strands. It was a weird yarn. Well, that's why I did the DK with it first, and I thought it turned out good. And they were trying to give you ideas to put sleeves on them, but I didn't care. So I think it came out in the summertime, and they were calling it a summer top or something. But you have that other yarn. Well, it's almost like thread-like, so it would have made a really good summer one. I will have to look for that later and pop back on here and show it. Or when I get my drink, I might even look. All right, I'm going to put this up for now. Get me a drink. I'll be right back. Pause for a moment. I was going to roll this stuff up too, and I didn't. Oh well. Oh. Yeah, there got my little bit there. Oh. Well, darn it, I think the other one, this is the DK one, Isn't that gorgeous? I actually made that. I just can't believe it. But evidently the one with that roll with the thread or whatever, evidently we left that at the other place. I mean, the collar, everything. And here's the back. But I could find something to wear with this under there. Lots of different colors of t-shirts I could. And see, and I don't mind no sleeves at all. I guess the other one got left on it. It would be somewhere. Look. Oh well. Gives me a reason to try again, I guess. I don't think I'll ever make one. That took a lot of my brain cells away. Happened to, so I had to use like a cable needle, and it was on my heating pad. These are my hooks that I got. There's the favorite Furls hook. And it's just so slick, and it slides right off. This one is also pearls, but I don't know if it's matte did on there or whatever, but they don't slide off as well. And then here's the plastic one, which I've never been a fan of plastic. First Tunisian hooks I started out with were plastic, and I upgraded since then. But it don't slip very well on that. Here's the Addy swing, which I like how it fits in my hand, but the shaft is like really short, so it takes practice to figure out how to use it. And then here's my old time, regular boy hooks. I do have a Susan Bates too, but I got a lot more hooks than this. This is just the ones that I will use right now. So I'm going to pull out a crocheted thing, do some crochet maybe. Here is another one of my knitted ones. This was a loom project. If you can see that, it was a loom project. Ah, darn it. Of course, when you're live, you got to do all this stuff. But here's I like those loom stitches, but then I started up here doing garter stitches. So I haven't really decided whether I'm going to put it back on the loom and finish it up, or if I'm just going to keep knitting. But here's what I'm talking about on the sides. See, it just curls, and it's not lined up straight, and you can see where it got longer because of longer stitches. I mean, it won't bother me, but I wouldn't want to gift it to somebody. And then here's where I did the slip stitches, and then down here wasn't slip stitches, so, but like I said, it won't bother me. It'll be a nice warm one. I just don't know if I'm going to finish knitting it or put it back on the loom and finish looming it. I'm going to decide when I get into that ball. And then I've got, of course, my corner to quarter patchwork blanket. And it's pretty long. I'd never get it all the way on camera. And then here's my knitted miter blanket that I've been working on for 100 years. Well, I didn't really want to do the corner to corner thing. I'm going to get this back in there. I'm going to grab that. I'm just going to do some scrappy stuff right now. Just get into this. Ooh. And like I said, this furls getting used to because I'm used to boy hooks and holding them clear up here where that thumbprint thing is. And I don't suppose you have to. I don't know. It's a work in progress, just like all those other hooks. But I really can't wait for that Clover and more to come in, because that's the one that every crochet group, whatever, is just all about. So, and I'm just doing random stitches on this too. Evidently, I was just doing a single crochet in it pulled out when I got it out. So I'll finish this side. What did it do? Well, nothing like closing something out and messing everything up, I guess. That'd be me. I am Gen X. I'm not that comfortable with um, electronics and all this. Now, I could probably do a different view with it being in crochet. I don't know. Anyways, I just finished single crochet, it looks like. And I've been doing some double crochet, so I'm probably just going to do another row of single just for the heck of it. And this is really, truly a total scrap blanket. Like, some of this yarn is so old that, but you know, you never want to throw any yarn away. And it's single stranded. A lot of people do that double strand and it turns out marble, and I don't like that marble look so much. I'd rather do this. So, but see, it's just like you just got to figure out where you want to hold your. You know, everybody's has talked about pearl hooks for years, and I've never ever tried them. I never seen any sense to do it. But now that I've had carpal tunnel and stuff, and that surgery was more painful than anything actually, because I'm right-handed and it was my right hand, of course. But I had a stroke before that, so that was my affected side. So I still have issues with numbness and stuff. It was probably from stroke, because that's the biggest thing I had. Problem with stroke, numbness and sensation feeling, and didn't affect muscles. Yeah, they say I'm just so strong, but I still feel weak on that side. I lose my balance, and when I walk a lot and I'm out and about a lot, then of course I get weaker, and then that's when I got to sit down because I'm going to lose my balance and probably fall. But yeah, I definitely know I hold the hooks I've used all my entire life a little bit different. So it's probably why I've not liked the ergonomics so well. It's because I can't hold it like I hold those hooks. Because like I said, you hold them more up here because of that thumbprint. And so you just have this little time. And this one, you got this longer shaft area. I don't know. I'll probably get used to it. I like this one because it's the yarn slides. Those other ones make me want to beat my head in. But I'm thinking that, as I use them, maybe they'll, get easier to slide the yarn down. Or maybe if I have a different type of yarn or something, I don't know. But I like the color of this. That's why I grabbed it. I wanted this one. It's a limited edition one or something, so And the only sizes they had was H and a G, and I hardly ever use a darn G, so. I mainly use H, I's, and J's. Rarely a G and rarely a K. Even with my chunky yarn that I was crocheting over there, still waiting on the yarn to come in for me to finish, is I've been using a J on that. Probably could use K. I don't even know what it said to use. Probably use said an L. And I actually have a prim L and a M and an N, I think. But my N is like just a boy hook or something. I had gotten it for that blanket yarn I had when I had that. But it wasn't really that fun because that big of a hook just hurt my hands. That was pre-stroke and pre-carpal tunnel surgery. I don't know. Just made my hand tired, my whole arm tired from that thick yarn. But I don't like the real thin sock yarn and stuff like that either. I don't know how anybody does one of those memory blankets on a sock yarn. So I want to craft more and actually finish objects instead of having all these things on my needles. But that's just how my brain works. It's like, ADHD. I see a project or see some different yarn and I want to just start working on that one. And I try to make myself, I worked quite a bit. I did quite a few rows on that loom. And loom is more what I can do when I'm chilling at night watching TV. And I can't have the sound on TV when I'm recording or if I'm going live because when I had like a Law and Order on and it picked it up when I tried to post it and told me, not a big deal, but if you try to monetize, I'm like, I ain't doing that anyway. But I just don't want to get like strikes, or whatever, and where I can't do any more videos. I don't want to do that, so I just make sure there's no sound on. I don't know. Listening to music would probably do the same thing if they could determine what the song was. So I have it on closed caption. It's not like it's any shows I really, really dying to watch or anything. That's what the evening's for. And it's usually my ball games. But tonight is the home run derby, which I ain't gonna watch. And then tomorrow is the All-Star game. And then we can get back to regular baseball. My team is folding like, I don't know. I'm a Chiefs fan and I'm a Royals fan. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. And my dad always had me rooting for those teams. And yes, I was a fan with the Kansas City Chiefs before they got good. But we'll through this scenario of DeBerg and when they had Montana before he retired, wanted to retire before Warren Moon was going to retire. Yes, that's old I am. So, but boy, Kansas sure got an awful lot of fans. They start winning like that. I just don't like fan jumpers. People that, cheered for one team all their life when they were kids, maybe they could change once they become adults or whatever, but don't just jump around and get on the bandwagon of the ones that are winning. That just makes me mad with any sport. Stick with your team. If they're out of whatever and they're done for the season, whatever, then you can choose from then. And yes, I could Denver choose a team that is a big rival of my team. Like Denver, what I call them is donkeys. I don't care for them so much. My grandson, when he was little, he was so convinced that they really were called the Denver Donkeys, and his dad was a Denver fan because he went to school in Denver and raised in Denver for most of his life. And I remember him so adamant to say, Denver Donkeys. And Yeah, his dad's mad. He's 23 years old now, so he likes now, but I just. And then my husband is a Dallas Cowboys fan, which he was with them when they had all those winning years, and then now they can't do anything anymore. They need to get rid of their dumb quarterback. And I've never liked Dallas because I just didn't like it. It's America's team, and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, this and that. They were just too commercialized, just like some of the videos I hate watching. The podcasts because they're so commercialized, and I just want something down to earth. And so teams that have lost and lost. I always go with the underdog pretty much because it doesn't affect my team. That's just it. And Mahomes had to be shown he can lose. So in a way, I kind of think that's kind of funny too because you have to learn how to lose. I don't know if he's lost gracefully or if he's okay. Some people say he's kind of cocky, and I do think he thinks he can save the day at the last moment and found a few times that he can't. But with the good, there's, people are going to always complain and gripe about something or whatever. I just wonder how many people that have been KC fans as soon as they lose a couple games, if they'll all jump wagon and say he's washed up and whatever, I don't know. But I just wonder about that because, they have to lose some. Nobody needs to be going and having a perfect record because that way when they get to playoffs, they don't think they can lose because they've won all the games. And that's not how it works. It's, yeah, when you get that cocky, you need to be knocked down a peg, I think. I watch all the football games though, even if all the football games I can, they're on, televised or whatever. So last year we did get the Sunday ticket, so any game we really wanted to watch, we could. Because I can see my games because I'm in the Kansas City viewing area for local channels to televise it. And then we get ESPN and stuff like that. But my boyfriend could hardly ever. Well, I guess he's my husband now. Anyway, sorry, misspoke. He could hardly get his games, and so I got that. And then he didn't even watch them that much because the way he worked and stuff, and he'd be tired when he'd come home, he'd take a nap. Yeah, I'd be staying up late when it was night. I am kind of over that, if it's going one way out and I have to go to work next day, I'm going to go to bed too. Because when they were always just a little short of doing, once they started winning, then it's like, okay, you've had a Super Bowl now. You've done what I needed you to do before I died. So I still get into the games, but if they had to do it with a backup quarterback or something, I'd probably move more into the game just, because. But there's other teams that I kind of like, and I kind of, when they got to the playoffs last year and stuff, there was teams I really liked the oh God, I can see their quarterback's face. Jaguars. They haven't won, and they, kind of getting raw deals, and they got them a good quarterback. Who knows? It's July, end of July. I think we start having some pre-games or the first part of August, so I'm ready for football season because it's a longer season, I guess. Baseball, I've been watching more this year than ever. Usually I only watch it when it's postseason because everything's televised. But nope, this year I had to get the MLB channel so I can watch them all. And also so my husband can watch his team, Texas Rangers. And Texas Rangers are doing way better than the Royals. I think with the game they won last night, they went into first place in their division. Royals are dead last. I don't really see that changing any. I don't see them being able to be a contender in postseason, but that's okay. I'm enjoying watching the game and getting to know the players on the team's ability. Now, all those stats and all those abbreviations they use and stuff, I have no idea what that means. None whatsoever. Half the time. I have to look it up or something. Okay. Some of them are obvious, but other ones are like, what the heck? I'm not even sure when they say there's so many under 500. I'm not even sure what the heck that means. I know they got to win more games they got to be over 500 to even think about postseason, supposedly, or something. I don't know. They're still going to play all their 180 games anyway, or 160 games anyway. They just might not be in contention for postseason. They can be spoilers or something, but I'll watch them. Not, I don't watch those other games because I don't know. I don't know how all the division stuff and all. I do, yeah. And I have to keep going back and looking to see what the standings are, to see who's in my division, to see, if they need to really for sure beat this person. But the Royals are so far down the next plus person that, and I don't know, is it the only the first team gets in from each division, or is it the top so many, or is it the ones that are all over 500? I don't know. I have no clue. But I enjoy watching it anyways. Scrappy, scrappy, scrappy. One of a kind. Will never be replicated at all. Not with the colors and randomness. And I really wished I knew. I really wished I knew if my hook when it was coming. It said I think it said 3 something to 5 something. Oh, sorry. I had to go to the bathroom. I'm about to end this for now. Anyways, let me show you. I got yarn there for my strap blanket. Got yarn there for my strap blanket. And there's what I just stuffed on the floor. There's a loom. And more looms. And another loom. That was one I was working on. I think that's it. Other ones are hidden drawers and stuff. And another bucket out in the living room. See y'all later.